Welcome to episode 1 of AK Rides. We ask 6 questions and take you on one great ride. Come along as we check out Stewart McDonald's AK Ride.
A Sunday morning drive in Alaska, you can't wait on the weather. Yeah, this is a 1979 Triumph Spitfire, and this car's got a just under 15 cubic centimeters of a straight 4 engine. It's a 4-speed transmission. It doesn't have the overdrive. And when it's at optimum RPMs, it can make about 73 horsepower. But low end, it's pushing right around 52, 53 horsepower, as I've got it currently configured with a Weber carburetor and the current setup. It is a car from that time period when I first started driving. I had a Triumph TR7 back in those days. That was what my father and I were able to locate and have at that time when I was a teenage driver. But I always wanted this body style. This was designed by Giovanni Michelotti, a famous car designer, and it's got the kind of lines that I always liked. It was built to compete with the MG Midget. So this is the smallest of the Triumphs to compete with the smallest of the MGs. And it just always had a slick British style / Italian look to it. And easy to work on, easy to get parts for, and a blast to drive on mountain curvy roads. Built or bought? What a great question. I bought this from someone who also bought it. It never had to be built because although it's over 40 years old, the vehicle is still pretty much in original condition. It's still together. I redid the dash. I pulled the, changed the carburetor out. Had some adjustments on the carburetor. I've replaced odd and end things, starter motors, ignition coil and that sort of thing in it. Suspension's been altered just a little bit to have the front end sit down lower on the wheels. Makes it a little tight and on bumps, but it does a nice job. Just repair things as they break, and been working on slowly replacing all the Lucas electronics with aftermarket. And I see a day in the future where I'll be doing a repaint and fixing up some dings and nicks in it. But so you could say it's bought, but if you own a Triumph, you're going to be building it one piece at a time over time. So my favorite thing about this car, it's the simple fact that it's as close to a go-kart as you can get. Simple on the road. You feel every part of the road. I enjoy it, but it also brings back a very specific nostalgia. As a early teenage driver, always loved the look of this car. This reminds me of the early days of the Police and the Ramones and a bunch of music from the mid to late 70s going into the 80s, and every time I get in it, I relive some favorite parts of childhood, teenage years, early driving. But past that, it's a car made for bad weather. It's a car made for bad roads, and it's not brittle. It has things that do need to be replaced and have maintenance, but once it's running, it goes. And I love just getting out in Alaska and enjoying Alaska. Well, every car has its downside, its cost. One of the things that you just have to get used to if you drive anything British is Lucas Electronics, and it constantly has gremlins and ghosts inside of its electronic system that you have to always troubleshoot. Fortunately, there's only about 6 or 8 feet of wire in it, so feeling every bump in the road, you can practically feel the paint. They used to mark the lines. My favorite adventure I've ever had in this car is taking the dogs and driving to Hatcher Pass. It's a mountain pass. Eventually the paved road runs out, then it's gravel, and just driving on Alaska's mountain windy roads, even in the gravel, and heading to where people typically only go in a 4-wheel drive, but this car was made for bad roads and made to drive on that kind of road, and it's easily my favorite adventure to take on this car. It's sort of a mini vacation. I'll often drive it to work just to go through traffic in the morning and the afternoon, just to try and recapture some of that feeling of being on vacation even on a work day. And I like driving it. The worse the weather, the more fun it is to me, but it's also a grand ride when the weather's gorgeous. So to me, it's all win. If I could trade it, even on anything, oh my goodness, I'd love a Morgan Arrow, any year model, that would pretty much do everything this one does. And then I think about that and then realize, making a repair on this car, I can go to the local auto store and buy most of the things on it. A Morgan, I wouldn't. So truth is, I would have a hard time trading it, giving it up. If I could get a Morgan and all the parts as cheap as I could get on this one, I'd go with a Morgan Arrow.